So Carlos made some really excellent arguments there. But my argument today is why should we wager on the minimum when you can win on the maximum? Raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour just won't help Americans. Okay? Some facts right here. Growing income gap basically means that we need some sort of wage increases for Americans. Right? The income gap today is the highest it's been since 1928. Okay? In fact, it's higher than the height of the Great Depression. Okay, you can see this right here compared to this right here. Okay. Simply raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour, we do a few things and have some dire consequences for our economy. All right. I know what it's like to live in poverty. I've been there myself. I've been ridiculed for having free school lunch. Not fun. Not fun. Yo, you poor, yo? What you eating? You eating that school dog? Oh, okay. The one pathetic Christmas present. Always joyous. And eating from the Philadelphia Food Bank. For the other veterans in the room, you know what it's like to eat MREs, or the Vietnam version of MREs. I would rather eat MREs every meal the rest of my life than ever look at that can of pork again. All right. Over legislation basically means less freedom. Is a democracy that forces us to do something, is that really a democracy? So when the government says, you must do this, it has nothing to do with actually protecting citizens, actually protecting us from danger. Why are they telling us to do that? From an economic and financial side, small businesses especially could be hurt by this, less ability to hire new people, and possible need for layoffs. There's a backfire to minimum wage increases. Impact on employment. According to Salvia and Berkhauser, simply raising the minimum wage to $9.50 an hour would result in a loss of approximately 1.3 million jobs. Now imagine if instead of that we did $15 an hour. How many more jobs would be lost? Little to no reduction in poverty. Okay? The minimum wage set in 1938 was 25 cents an hour. That's $4.27 per hour today's money. Today's minimum wage is $7.25 an hour, and as Carlos pointed out, $15,000 a year. Now, what he didn't mention, that $12,000 a year is just for a single person. If you have any dependents, the $15,000 a year puts you below the poverty line. With any dependents, so like a single mom with just one child, you're below the poverty line. So we can see the original minimum wage is below the poverty line, and we're still right at or below it today. Higher consumer prices, okay? And this is really what drives that poverty line after minimum wage increases. So some of you may have noticed that after New York State did the $15 an hour for fast food workers, things were a little more expensive. What else did you guys notice increasing in prices? What other stores did you notice prices going up in? Anyway.
Walmart.
Walmart, okay. Anything else? Anything like a Burger King or Taco Bell, right? I noticed about a $2 per meal, the combo meals at McDonald's increase. One of the things that simply raising the minimum wage tends to ignore is the idea of fostering capitalism. So yes, there is definitely a problem. We definitely need to address it, but requiring an increase in wages is not the solution. Why don't we instead use tax breaks for paying higher wages? So, company A, you pay your people $20 an hour. Company B, you pay your people $10 an hour. Company A, we're only going to tax at 10%. Company B, we're going to tax at 90%. One of the things that we can do also is increase the tax rate on the maximum wage, the marginal tax rate. So during Eisenhower's administration, the marginal tax rate on income above $400,000, that's about $2.3 million in today's money, was 90%. That means that up to that $400,000, you had the regular tax rate, but that $400,000 in first dollar, government kept 90 cents of it. And all that money above that, think about how much money these CEOs are making. Carlos mentioned that as well. $8,000 an hour, $4,000 an hour, right? $23 million a year. So that $23 million a year, all right, your first $2.3 million, regular tax rate. The rest of it, the $20,700,000, 90% tax. That would certainly reduce the budget deficit, increase our revenues, and be able to put money back into the economy as well. Some simply raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour will have the opposite of its intended effect. Loss of political and economic freedom. It won't reduce poverty. And it increases consumer prices, which then drives that poverty line. Instead, we should encourage wage increases through a system of taxation. Okay? Any questions for me? John?
Sorry, so you agree that wages should be raised, you don't agree in the manner in which they were
Exactly.
raised?
So requiring a minimum wage increase is counterproductive, whereas rewarding minimum wage increases can be extremely productive. Sydney and then Chris.
So wouldn't the increased buying power of these employees who have the minimum wage raised, wouldn't their increased buying power offset a lot of the negative effects that you've outlined here?
We haven't seen that historically, unfortunately. Unfortunately, historically, with minimum wage increases, there's also a correlation with consumer price increases, or inflation, in other words, which then rewrites the poverty line. So as the minimum wage goes up, the poverty line also has been going up. Chris?
Just wonder if you think bringing the marginal tax bracket above whatever, either 2.1 or 400,000, if that would stifle other parts of the economy because people wouldn't have excess capital to invest in entrepreneurial ideas or other businesses, stuff like that.
That's a great question, and that's where the difference between corporate tax and personal tax comes into play. So, for me, whenever I'm doing my taxes each year, I deduct my business spending from my taxable income, because I do a few things here and there. It would be the same idea. So if I made $23 million in a year, and I wanted to spend $10 million of that on investing in a new business and hiring new people, that part would be a tax deduction. I have some interesting tax ideas, but that's a whole different. But yeah, I see where you're going with that, but then that comes into play, the tax deduction idea of you're spending that on a business. Does that make sense?
Chris, we have to move along.
Sounds good.